Good evening, everybody. November 30th, 2021, the last day of November, somehow. So first thing I have pulled up here is the monthly chart on Bitcoin. Just want to address something here quickly. This candle on the monthly, I know a lot of people out there are saying it's a bearish candle, but I just want to refute that, and I'm not going to say it's a bullish candle. I'm also not going to say it's bearish. I mean, we have a very similar candle right here that led to a big increase, and that was just in September. This is a similar candle here, and we had the rest of the bull push there after that candle. This looks to be semi-similar, honestly, to this sort of position we're in right now. We've got this similar area of just kind of coming down a little bit, consolidating. We got near the old all-time high and had a candle like this, and then just started pushing through it. So we actually made a new high here. So I don't see anything wrong with this monthly candle. Now that being said, obviously we've had candles that look like that and then they dump. So I'm just pointing that out, not to say this is a bullish candle, like I said, but it is certainly not a bearish one. There's no indication of that. So that being said, let's move on over to the main chart that we're looking at here. All right. So as I stated last night, which I think I was right about here, I was doing the video. I said it looks like the bears are probably going to stop hunt you overnight, take out people's stops below this low here, and just hours after I did that video, of course, it spiked down exactly into that green zone that I had drawn out, thus giving us what looked like a pretty good WXY flattened correction and potentially starting us off on the next bull leg up. If we zoom out here, I'll show you what this yellow line is. So this yellow line is this downtrend coming up from the basically 69K high that we had, or nearly 69K high that we had, and sloping downwards from there. It wasn't really confirmed with just these two touches, but now that we've got some more action kind of signifying, yeah, that is a real trend line, it is something to keep an eye on. We, as you see, kind of had a false breakout today. This was when Jerome Powell came out and said inflation is not transitory, and the Fed is going to end up tightening monetary policy sooner than expected, and yada yada yada. So had a bit of a taper tantrum there in the stock market, in crypto, in gold and silver, pretty much everywhere across the board had that little taper tantrum of, oh no, we're not going to have as much free money anymore. Boo-hoo. But the result that it had on the chart, unfortunately, is that it doesn't look quite as good anymore. Had we gone here and down to find support right around here and then proceeded upwards, I'd be quite happy right now. But instead, we got a pretty deep retrace, and we really haven't been able to move much off of that low since then. So that doesn't make me particularly happy, but I am remaining bullish in the short term, pretty much as long as we remain above this box. I still view that as a pretty decent support area, especially coming down here. Just horizontal support right there at 55K should be fairly significant if this had a little bit more of a tantrum at some point and came down more. I would expect that to hold. So since we have like three-wave action here, we've got like a three-wave down potentially, let's just go ahead and draw another support box here that may, if this wants to do another ABC down, it would look something like this, A, B, and C, maybe to the 1.0 extension there, but anywhere in this region here is sufficient for C. So technically hitting that 618 right there is actually sufficient. Usually they go down to the 1.0 extension though, so I wouldn't be surprised by another push down into this box again. Maybe we tap that 55.9 area, 55.8 area, something like that, or potentially even a little bit further down into this 55, lower 55 area. So that, is just based on this local action that we're seeing. How that'll affect the larger view is a little bit of a question, I suppose. If this comes down into this area, I believe I'll probably just view it as extending this Y wave, the second wave, and maybe this is our X here instead, and maybe this is our W here. Corrective action can take so many different forms. It's kind of crazy, actually, how unpredictable those corrections can be. So, like I said, I would be much happier with this action had it just continued upwards. A small dump down and then a pump upwards above here would have been fairly decent. And at the moment, it's still not necessarily out of the question. This could certainly be a 1 and a 2. In the next wave up, it would really have to be kind of like this is 2, I guess, though. So like 1 and 2 in the next wave up. If it remains above that, that's possible. And then it pushes higher there. But like I said, corrective action is hard to deal with. So basically, as long as we remain above this 55K region, I remain bullish, and especially if we start moving up here and break this yellow trend line, I remain bullish as well. Now, the orange box I have drawn on here, I said yesterday, once we have this bottom in place, we'll need to draw a fib extension and give ourselves the danger zone here for if this is simply going to be A, or actually A, B, and C upwards. That orange box is the danger zone for that. And then we may, if we find a rejection in that area and then break down below whatever lows we strike here, then I'm going to be expecting 40Ks, like lower 40Ks, honestly, if that were to happen. So in order to take that dreaded lower low off the table and continue what could be an impulsive move up here, we will need to break through this orange box. And ideally, the next wave up should take us all the way up to at least 64 based on this, potentially 65.7 into that region there. So, and that's going to change a little bit if we do come down in some more corrective action and we drag our 2 over to here. That's going to have to change a little bit based on where that new 2 bottoms out. So if it comes down here, we'll then have to just move that orange box down, and it moves the target down for these next waves up as well. So we'll deal with that if and potentially when it happens. But for now, this remains our danger zone here. But as you see, it didn't really change all that much. So, basically anything above like 63K, almost, it doesn't completely, but almost virtually guarantees lower lows off the table. Obviously, the biggest thing we need to see for it to really take the lower low off the table is a completed 5 wave. So this getting to here makes the likelihood of completing 5 waves very high, makes it look much less like an ABC, but we still will need to see that final movement to give us 5 waves up off the low. Once we do have 5 waves, we're not going to get a lower low. We won't go below that again, and we should, I'm saying that definitively. You really can't say definitively in trading. I would say 99% we are not getting a new low if we can complete 5 waves up. From there, we should see a corrective pullback, and again, from that area, wherever that ends, that would be another decent area to kind of buy in or long or whatever for the subsequent move up then, which should be a fairly strong one, being the 3rd wave, because this will then be 1 and 2, and that's going to be our 3rd wave up. All right, so I think that pretty much sums everything up. So let's just kind of keep an eye on the action, hope at this point that we stay above that 55K region, but don't be surprised by another little push down here into this potential support zone based on the action we saw today. And I think that is all. So I will see you all tomorrow for the first update of December. All right. Good night, everybody.